Hi, I'm James Bruce and you're watching MakeUseOf.com, and this, dear reader, is the moment I've been waiting for since 4 years ago when a young Palmer Luckey decided that enough was enough. He was actually going to make a VR headset. At the time, he turned to the relatively new crowdfunding platform Kickstarter and quickly found that 10,000 other people thought that actually, yeah, that was a pretty good idea, you should go for it. And from that, we got the Development Kit 1, the first edition of the Development Kit by the newly founded Oculus VR company. Following that, we got the Oculus Rift Development Kit 2, then they were bought by Facebook, and now finally, this is it, we have the consumer version 1 of the Oculus Rift. Now, the Oculus Rift costs $600, not including shipping or local taxes. In the box, you'll find the headset itself, a tracking camera on a stand, an Xbox controller and wireless dongle for it, and a little remote control. Now, I should at this point mention that I've had my HTC Vive for about a week before taking delivery of the Oculus Rift. So I have used both extensively at this point. However, I'm going to try and focus this review entirely on the merits and the downsides of the Rift itself. I won't be doing any direct comparisons. At a later date, I'll talk more about the differences between the two and which is my personal favorite. But for today, let's just talk about this fantastic little device. So, design and comfort. Let's just say we've come a long way since the days of the first development kit. The final consumer version not only looks really incredible, but it also has so many features that make it clear that comfort was a driving force behind their design of this particular version. The strap is a rigid rubberized design, and at the back here there's a solid triangle which cups the back of your head and should take most of the weight when it's been adjusted correctly. At the front, the straps are spring-loaded, and this really helps when you are putting it on and taking it off. You can just pull it forwards and then it snaps back into place. The screen also tilts a little, so you can adjust it to whatever is best for you. And of course, there's an IPD adjustment slide at the bottom here. The main unit and around the lenses is actually covered in a kind of stretchy fabric. And while it feels and looks great, I'm not so sure about the long-term durability of this. It seems like it might rip easily. Another great aspect of the Rift design are these integrated headphones, which both slide up and down and rotate. So you can put them in the right place no matter where your ears are. Now, I don't know if there's any complicated audio processing going on there for 3D audio, but as far as I'm concerned, they sound great. In terms of cable management, it also really helps. There's just a single cable, and apart from another USB port for the camera, that's it. You don't need any other power sockets or anything else. However, bear in mind that when the touch controllers are released along with another tracking camera, that's yet another USB 3 port that you're going to need. So basically, lots of USB ports, but no power needed. One perhaps minor point to bear in mind is that they don't work so well with glasses. They can tend to pinch. So, really comfortable to wear, lightweight, but a little less comfortable with glasses. The quality of the visuals is much improved over the second development kit. There is a large sweet spot, so if you're scanning your eyes around, it's only really going to get blurry at the very extremes. I did notice a strong screen door effect in dark backgrounds and menus, and the blacks do look a little bit washed out. The Fresnel lenses also cause a sort of blurring effect, a lens flare. But to be honest, none of these problems matter when you're actually playing a game. The only other thing you might find, depending on your face shape, is that there's quite a lot of light leak from around the nose. This might be a bonus though if you need to just find your mouse quickly. The positional tracking system that the Rift uses is called Constellation, and it uses a camera which watches your headset, and the headset has a number of infrared LEDs on it. When I tried setting this up in my living room while sitting on a beanbag and having the camera about half desk height, I had a lot of problems, and eventually I just had to bodge it by saying I was standing up when I was actually sitting down. So now I have to reset the view every time I play. It might be worth bearing in mind that anything outside of the standard desk setup perhaps won't work as well. I've also found the tracking to be a little bit unreliable. In Eve Valkyrie, for instance, if I look right up towards the top of the cockpit, it'll sometimes sway a little. My wife was playing Lucky's Tale and she moved towards the camera and it lost tracking, so she's lurching forward while the game isn't, and that causes a bit of VR sickness. Oculus really needs to find a better way to deal with this, for instance by blanking out the game and just showing you a black screen with an error. But that's just a software issue and I'm sure they can update that. As for room scale experiences, there obviously aren't any at the moment, so we really aren't going to know how well it handles anything like that until the content is there and until we have another tracking camera with the proper touch controllers. However, judging by what happens when you reach the extremes of a single camera tracking bounds, I'm not so sure it's ever going to be able to do room tracking all that well. And Oculus has even clarified that their default setup for 2 cameras is going to be in either corner of your desk, leading to a better front-facing experience. So anyone looking for true room scale should be looking elsewhere at this point, or wait until we've got the additional cameras and can set up some more tests to really say for sure. As for the controller, well, they supply an Xbox One controller and I don't think we really need to talk about that. It is what it is. Also in the package is a very simple little Oculus remote. It has a click wheel, volume up and down buttons, a menu button and an enter button. You can't really play games with it, but it's more just for navigating the store as a media remote when you're watching a movie, and perhaps at a later date we're going to see more first-party applications, probably something on the social side which uses this to interact. For now though, you're mainly going to be using the Xbox One controller in your games, and if you're happy and comfortable with that, well then there's no problem. On the software side of things, I've got mixed feelings. What's really nice is that there's an occupancy sensor inside the headset, so when you put it on, it will automatically load you into Oculus Home, and when you take it off again, it will pause whatever you're playing and turn the screen off inside the Rift. The home environment is pleasant enough and functional, but there's not much to it right now. There's no customization, and it's really just a storefront and a way to launch your games. Despite having a friends list, there's nothing you can actually do with your friends yet. But again, it's early days and the software can always be upgraded. Also worth mentioning for us Brits is that the Oculus storefront is currently in US dollars only and doesn't accept PayPal. Now this might not seem like a problem, but most UK banks and card issuers will charge you an additional fee on top of whatever you've bought for every single transaction. So that means if you've just bought a $10 game, you may be paying up to $5 in a processing fee towards your bank. As for the launch lineup of games and demos, to be honest, I'm not that impressed. The very first thing you'll be presented with is Dream Deck. This is a series of short vignettes. So you see a little cute alien, or there's a dinosaur who walks over the top of you, or you're standing on top of a skyscraper. It's just a bit meh. I'm sure if you've never tried any VR stuff before, it's really awesome, but for anyone with a little VR experience, it's really quite boring. Eve Valkyrie is probably my favorite of the launch lineup so far. It's a space dogfighting game loosely based in the Eve universe. And although progression is agonizingly slow if you don't make use of the in-app purchase system, it is by far the most fun I've been having with the Oculus Rift, and I can't wait for my new joystick and throttle to arrive to really get the most out of that. Do you want to play the spaceship game again?
No, I don't like that one. It makes me so sick.
You also get Farlands, which is a alien planet exploration game. I can't really get into it, not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing, but there you go. And you get Lucky's Tale, which is a third-person platformer. If you like platformers, you're going to like Lucky's Tale. But ultimately, I found myself thinking, well, what's the point of playing this in VR? You could just as easily play it on a regular 2D monitor, and you probably wouldn't lose that much. Then again, I'm not a huge fan of platformers in the first place. So, what are your thoughts on Lucky's Tale?
Just like a Mario. Nothing special.
Is it fun?
Yes.
But other than that, nothing really popped out at me as something that would be compelling in VR and with an Xbox controller. I didn't get a chance to check out Elite Dangerous yet, but I probably will, as well as Project Cars. They seem like a great match for the system. Generally, I don't think the software lineup is going to improve until we have another tracking system and some Oculus Touch controllers. Right now, the fact that you can only control the games with an Xbox controller means you are pretty much limited to traditional formats of games. So is the Oculus Rift worth $600? For anyone who even mildly enjoys cockpit-style games and those hardcore sim addicts with HOTAS and motion platforms, this is quite simply the best quality visuals you're going to get in a virtual reality headset, and you will be really pleased with what you've got. It's really comfortable for prolonged usage and is going to thoroughly immerse you in those sorts of games. For other gamers who are comfortable with an Xbox controller, you'll probably find the Oculus Rift can really enhance your gameplay as well. Do check out the software lineup though and see if there's anything that really appeals to you. Or if there isn't, then just wait it out. In 6 months' time, we'll have the Oculus Rift Touch controllers and another tracking camera, so we'll be able to see how well it handles room scale experiences too. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I saved the best bit for last, because if you head on over to the link in the description at makeuseof.com, you'll find we are giving away not only an Oculus Rift headset, but an Oculus Ready PC to go with it too. Yep, one of those $1,500 bundles we are giving away to one lucky reader. Enter the code that you see on screen now for some bonus entries in the competition. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so we can keep you informed about all our latest giveaways and technology tutorials. I'll try to get another video done in the next week or so where I give some thoughts about the comparison between the Vive and the Rift, which one my money's on and which one I prefer at the moment. But until then, thank you for watching from all of us at makeuseof.com.